so you can see how mixing warm and cold water creates movement.
It's Thursday! Hey everybody, it's 3:30. That means it's science time. Hey Iris, so nice to see you. I'm so glad you're excited. If you're going to join us today, Chardonnay, I am so ready for you, Chardonnay. Seth, Holly and Mia, stay there. I've got something to show everybody. And Chardonnay, I have your custard right here because I didn't forget. So before we start all of that chaos, if you're new here, we're going to do a science experiment today. You can do it live with me. And if you want to do this, you will need a glass of water, a spoon, an egg, and some salt. Now, make sure that your glass is big enough that your egg can fit in there. Oh, Sophie and Xavier, don't worry if you miss them. You can watch them on our YouTube channel, or your grown-ups can watch them on our Facebook channel too. So, grab an egg. Be very careful, because if you drop it, it will smash. So carefully grab an egg, grab a spoon, grab some salt, and a glass of water filled almost to the top, but not quite. Hi Isaac, oh I'm so glad you saw my show in Wellington. That was a fun show. It was sold out too, because Wellington, you are awesome. So how is everybody today? We're going to do a floating egg experiment, and we're also going to help Chardonnay figure out why you get a skin on custard. So while you're gathering all of your ingredients, Cara is here, ready to go. Okay, so before you do it, welcome Matilda and back. And you did the rain gauge this morning. Has it been raining? Did you get any rain in it? Don't worry, if you miss it, you can always watch them back. You can watch them back over the weekend if you've got nothing to do. Okay, I'm going to take this egg and I'm going to put it in the glass of water, and I need to know from you, is it going to float or is it going to sink? What do you think? Write in the comments, float or sink. Now, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, I know you can't do the comments. I'm sorry, that's part of YouTube's rules. So if you're seeing people on the comments, it's because they've got a grown-up sitting with them who is on our Facebook Live. So don't worry, I know some of you who are watching on YouTube, your grown-ups have sent me some pictures, and I'm going to give you a shout out today. Hi, Desiree, nice to see you. Okay, I'm so excited. Even Charlotte, do you think this is going to float or sink? If we put this egg, Chardonnay says sink. What does everybody else think? Is it going to float or sink if I put it in here? What do you think? Shall we give it a go? What do you reckon? Okay, let's have a look. Isaac says sink. We're going to give it a go. Evelyn says sink. Well, this is a hypothesis, and we will see what happens. Oh, it's been raining, but you need to figure out how to secure them in place the next project. That is very true. Maybe put a rock in the bottom of it. Float. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Float. Let's have a look. I'm going to let the egg go, and Ethan says sink. Stella says sink. It sank. Well done for guessing. And it doesn't matter if you guess right or wrong. It's all about guessing. Audrey and Oscar, well done. You said sink. So we call this a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is a guess. Well done, Eve. You got it right. A guess of what's going to happen next. So now what we're going to do is an experiment with some salt. But we'll let this sink a second. And we're going to do some shout outs to some people. So lots of you sent in your experiments that you did yesterday, and we're going to celebrate you right now. Who've we got first? Seth, Holly and Mia. Seth, Holly and Miriam not only made 3 bird feeders, but they also ordered a kitchen science cookbook and have 50 experiments that they can do from me now. And it just arrived, and they sent me a photo this morning saying that their book has arrived. So I'm excited to see what experiments you're doing. And for everybody who's watching over the past 2 weeks, you will know Seth, Holly and Mia from Blockhouse Bay. So nice to see you. Who else have we got? Arana! So we know that you are watching on YouTube, which means that you can't be in the comments. But I want you to know that I think you're amazing. Also, you're wearing one of my favorite Nanogirl shirts that says science is my superpower, and you made both a rain gauge and you made a rain stick yesterday. Thank you so much for sending in your photos, and enjoy your time on YouTube. Okay, who's next? Ellie, remember we made a bird feeder? Well, Ellie, who goes to Avondale Primary, took some photos of this type of bird. Do you know what type of bird it is? It's a kereroo. And the kereroo was in Ellie's garden, and she took a photo of us for us to see. So thank you, Ellie. Who else do we have? we have Simeona and Sam, who made both a rain gauge and a rain stick. So thank you for sharing your photo. Look how happy you look. I think they're super happy. I stuck bamboo skewers in mine to poke it to the ground. There you go. Tammy, that's advice to you from Tammy to Deirdre about how to stick it in. Probably better than rocks because that'll change the volume. Okay, I think we have one more photo to go. Two more. Cara. This is Cara. And Cara made both a rain gauge yesterday and a rain stick. Look at her there, ready to go. Very sciencey indeed. Thank you for sharing, Cara. One more photo before we do our experiment, and that's Stella. And you can see Stella's rain gauge right there, stuck to the fence of the pool. And I don't know about you, but it's raining here right now. So maybe if you live anywhere near central Auckland, your rain gauge will be collecting rain today. So thank you for sharing all your photos. Now we're going to do this experiment. So fish your egg back out. Hi, James in Auckland. You are 5. 5 is a great age. Okay, I'm just going to put my egg down here. Now, if you've ever been swimming, you may know that where you're swimming actually determines how well you float. So if you are trying to swim in a swimming pool versus trying to swim in the ocean, you may have noticed that you float much more easily in the ocean. And that's because the water in the ocean is salty. Now, for those of you who did the boat at the beginning of last week, we talked about density, and density is how much stuff something has in it. So this water doesn't have much stuff in it because water is quite pure. So based on its volume, we're going to put more stuff in here and make it more dense. So the reason why your egg sank is because your egg is more dense than the water, meaning that there's more stuff in there. Oh, it's a nice day there. It's not nice here. It is pouring with rain. If you hear it on the roof, that's what's going on. We're having a big rainstorm here. Oh, Heather and Heidi say hi again. Hi. And Mila from Browns Bay. Nice to see you. I love Browns Bay. It's a very, very nice place to go, especially like your beach. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to change the density of the water until the density of the water increases. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to put stuff in it. So if we look at how much water is here or how much liquid, we can see it's this much here. And we're going to add a big spoonful of salt to our water. So take a big spoonful of salt, put it into your water and give it a stir. And the salt is going to dissolve into it. Ah, it's overcast down in Moskill with rain. I know where you live now. I'm so excited. Hi, Danielle. I'm going to keep saying that. And then when we're out of level 2 and I can travel, I'm going to go down to Dunedin and visit your little town. It's another Mila. Hi. Okay, has your water changed color a little bit? Can you see that mine's gone a bit white? That's because I have lots and lots of salt in there. And so what we've done is kept the liquid volume the same. It's still at the same level. But this water, if we weighed it with a very, very special weighing scale, it's definitely raining here in Auckland, we would notice that it would weigh a little bit more. Isla and Zach in Albany, not too far from Browns Bay. Hi, how are you? So what we've done is increase the density of this water. So now we're going to go back to our egg. Do you think the egg is going to float or sink in our salty water? What do you think? Well, we can run an experiment, but actually there's no real way to know unless we dunk it in, because we don't know how dense the egg is and we don't know how dense the water is. So shall we give it a go? We're going to put it in here like this, and it sank, which is okay. So that means that we don't have enough density in our salty water. So do you know what we need to make it more dense? Hi, Froy AC and Angel. We're going to take another spoon of salt. Riley, don't worry that you missed the salt. We haven't done anything great. We've just put some eggs in water, see if they float or sink, and they sank, and now we're going to try and make them float. So take another spoonful of salt, put it into your water, and give it a stir. Remember, hypothesis means to guess, so we're going to do another guess. Now, what we've done now is increase the density of this water even more. Hi, Hugo and Mungaray Bridge. Nice to see you. So we've got people up north of Auckland, we've got people south of Auckland, we've got people in Dunedin. Where is everybody else from today? So you can see that my water is still white because it has salt dissolved in it. And now we've dissolved another spoon of salt. So that's 2 spoons of salt into this glass of water, which is going to increase the density of the water. Kerry Brown says float. What do you think? Oscar says float. We are going to give this a go. Chardonnay says float. What do you think? 3, 2, 1. Can you see? My egg is floating. If we go to the top camera, you could see the bottom of my egg is sticking out. And so all we've done is put 2 spoons of salt in there from Gleneden. Hi, Riley. Gleneden is nice too. So we're going north, south, and west. So we made this egg float really simply using the power of salt. And what we did is increase the density of water until the density of water was enough that it caused the egg to float. And you can do that if you're ever swimming in the ocean. So you may notice if you swim in the ocean, you float more than if you're swimming in a normal swimming pool. And that's because the salt actually makes you float, because the salt makes the water more dense. Caitlin is in Ellerslie. Hi from Ellerslie. And Whangarei, Audrey and Oscar. Hey, all the way up north in Whangarei. So this is a really easy way to take your egg. Remember how your egg sank at the beginning and now it floats? Using salt. And what you did is made your water more dense using the power of salt. Now, if you want to do something else with this, if you've never made, it floats. Is everybody's floating? If you've never made a jelly egg before, you might want to do this. You might want to take your egg now and pour it into a glass that's filled with the vinegar and then leave it for 3 days. So leave it until Sunday. Jaden and Ariella in Moyuku. Hi, nice to see you. And if you do that in the vinegar, your eggshell will dissolve, and when you pull it out, you will have a bouncy egg. That's quite a fun experiment to do. So if you want to do another egg experiment, cover it in vinegar, leave it for 3 days, and then let me know how it goes. So that's how you make a sinking egg float, by increasing the density of the water, and that's why you float much better in the ocean than you do in your bathtub or in a swimming pool. Now, Chardonnay, you have been asking me questions all week. So it's time for me to answer your questions. And don't forget, you can ask questions all the time and we can help you find out the answer. So I'm going to put this under here. And if you want to ask us a question, you can send it to info@nanogirllabs.com. Doesn't matter which vinegar, Riley, any type of vinegar will do. Just make sure it's fully covered and then leave it there for 3 days. And then when it comes out, rub the shell off and bounce it really gently on your table, and you'll make an egg like a bouncy ball. Hey, Harik and Hanel in Auckland. Nice to see you. So if you want to ask us any questions that we can answer live on our show, you can either email us at info@nanogirllabs.com, or you can use the Facebook Messenger or get your grown-ups to, and they can send us a message. Now I'm going to go to my top-down camera here. Chardonnay asked me a question yesterday and the day before, and her question was, why do you get a skin forming on the top of custard? And so we're going to take a look at this skin here. So skins form on the top of custard when your custard is hot and then you let it cool down. And the skin is this disgusting, look at that, hard layer. Can you see this hard skin on the top of my custard? So usually my custard is runny, but on the top of my custard is this thick, much harder skin. It's forming a soft crust on the front, and it looks quite gross. And the reason why that happens is through something called, oh, my fingers are salty, I shouldn't have licked my finger then, something called evaporation. So we'll start with what custard is. So custard is a mixture of eggs and sugar and milk, and it forms a mixture, and inside that mixture is some liquids and some solids. So the liquid is a water type of liquid, and the solids are proteins and fats. Now when you heat that up and it gets really hot and you mix them all together, you may see steam coming off the top of your custard. Have you ever seen when you have hot custard and it looks like there's a little bit of steam coming off? Well, that is actually water. And that water is leaving your custard and going up into the atmosphere, where eventually it may turn into a rain cloud, which is probably, I wonder if it's raining custard outside. It's definitely raining here today. So as it leaves, what happens is your custard is going to be a little bit drier. And so the solids inside your custard, so the fats and the proteins, stick a little bit closer together, and they're a little bit stiffer because they have less water keeping them flexible. And so the reason why you get a skin on the top of your custard, and it's not just custard, it happens in most dairy products that you make hot. So you've ever had hot milk before and then left it, you'll notice that there's a skin formed on the top of your hot milk. All that it is the top surface having less water in it because the hot water evaporates off, leaving you more of the what we call lipids or fats and the proteins in the structure, which are a bit more solid-like. So Chardonnay, I hope that answers your question, but here's the important thing. Skins of custard are totally fine to eat. They just have a little bit less water in them, but there's nothing wrong with them. So if you see the skin on your custard and you're like, that's disgusting, don't worry, it's not disgusting. You can totally eat it. I love custard. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. If you want to have us, does hollow items have a different indensity? Very good question. And if you go back to our boats episode, which I think was 2 Mondays ago, we talked about how having hollowness in, I don't have one with me, otherwise I'd show you, having a hollow structure in there actually can help things to float because it does change density because we're looking at the overall structure. So yes, it does. And we talked about that in our boat episode, which I think was 2 Mondays ago. But yes, which is why boats float, because they have a big hollow structure filled with air on the inside of them. Chardonnay, you are very welcome. Sorry, it took me 2 days, but I had to go get some custard, and then I had to heat it up, and then I had to let it cool. So hopefully having a real demonstration was what you needed. The egg goes quite squishy. Is that the egg with the vinegar, Isaac? It's quite a fun experiment. So let me know how you get on if you're doing your egg experiment. Don't forget, tomorrow, it's Friday. It's the last day of lockdown from school, which means tomorrow, sadly, is going to be our last episode of this live show. We've been trying to keep you busy during lockdown, but as tomorrow is the last day of lockdown, tomorrow will be our last live show that we have every day at 3:30. We're probably going to be releasing a whole bunch of other videos to keep you busy, so stay tuned to our Facebook page and our YouTube page. We'll keep going, and if you like this, let us know, and we'll try and do more. If you have certain experiments you want us to do, let us know, and we'll try and do those too. If you want a shout out, tomorrow's the last episode, so get in all your photos either to our Facebook or info@nanogirllabs.com. And we'll do it. Sam and Simeona, oh no, you're late. Hold on, wait. We showed your photo, but pull it back up. We're going to pull it back up because you were famous. Sam and Simeona, here we go. There you are. We already celebrated you, but now that you are watching, I'm going to celebrate you all over again. Look at your rain gauge and your rain stick. So nice to have you. I'll see you all tomorrow. And we'll keep going. Apparently there's more questions coming in. You got egg and vinegar, can't wait till Sunday. Sophie and Xavier. Okay, Sophie and Xavier, I want to see what happens. I'll put my egg and vinegar too, and we can compare them. Audrey would like to know how to make hot custard. Is that from scratch or just from cold custard? Because I put mine in the microwave today, but you can do it in a pan. If you want to make custard from scratch, then we can easily come up with a recipe. Custard's really hard to make because it likes to go lumpy, so you have to stir it a lot. And for those of you who want to know how to make custard, don't forget that we have super secret Kitchen Science Cookbook number 2 TV show is about to be made, and we might be talking a little bit about how to make the perfect custard in there. How do trees go from Hugo, I don't know if I have my seeds here, but trees grow from seeds. I remember I had some seeds yesterday. What were we making with the seeds? We made our bird feeder with the seeds. So trees grow from seeds, and seeds are basically little capsules filled with energy, enough energy that a little tree can start to grow until it's big enough to get its nutrients from the soil and from the sunlight. So there you go, those are all our questions. Keep sending them in. I'm so glad, Hopper and Heidi, your eggs are floating. Well done everybody who made their egg float when it sank. And okay, how is electricity made? From Riley. There are lots of different ways that we make electricity. One of the best ways we make electricity in New Zealand is from wind, with a wind turbine. So if you haven't done a wind turbine experiment, check online. We did that, I think, 2 days ago. And also our water, so water can flow. and we can spin a turbine. So when we get things to move around, we can actually turn that energy into electrical energy. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm being thrown off. I better go. I'll see you all tomorrow. It's our last show. Have fun. Happy Thursday. Bye.